Hi, it's Tim again, and I'm outside because one of the things that is really cool about snow is that you have the opportunity to see animals moving around and have get an idea of who's moving around and checking out their tracks. Now, if you take a look here, we have a set of tracks moving through this area. You can see them right here, and you can see they're going this way. And that's mine, and then you're going this way. So this type of track right here is really kind of giving me an idea that this is probably a squirrel. And I know rabbits and squirrels sometimes can be really difficult to tell apart, and one way that helps you is not just looking at the track but also looking at everything around it. And so if I follow this track and I follow where it came from, it really came from a tree over to my right in which the animal was feeding, and there was a bunch of leftover debris. That kind of gives me an idea that this is really a squirrel track. So that's something you can do. So that's one thing you can do. Here's another set of tracks. And if you look at these tracks, they look like a certain type of four-legged animal. And you could say, oh, is this a fox? Is this a coyote? Is this a wolf? But the reality is, like I said, there are some small differences, and you really have to know your tracks real well. But for everyone else, it's just doing it to check it out. Like I said, always look around for the big picture, because then when I look, notice what I see. I see tracks that belong to humans. And if I follow this track, there it is. Human tracks right along the dog tracks. And that's exactly what this is. This is a dog track. And that's one of the clues, is always check the entire surrounding. Sometimes tracks are very hard to figure out what they are. If you take a look at this track right here and this one there. So like I said, you kind of have to look at the whole picture. And if I go over here into this area right here, I'm seeing a certain type of indentation. And that is really, and if I follow the trail up, you can see it continues right up through here. It's a well-worn trail, and if you notice, there's tracks in all of this spot. A nice single little line. Here we go. And from the shape, if you look at it, this is probably some deer tracks. And you can see it goes right off in here and goes right into this trail. So yeah, some tracks are tough to look at and identify, but if you really kind of look around at the whole picture, you probably start to see it. And if you look at a deer track pattern, there are two separate little hooves that kind of push into the snow or into the mud together and make that little shape. Here's a perfect example of a deer track. See the shape? Perfect example. And here's another one. And this one's a really good one in the mud. So this is a deer track. Walking around through the woods, I came across another, probably a little hard to see, these tracks right here, and some tracks right here, and tracks right here, and they're pretty hard to tell what they are. Pretty hard. But if you look around, and you really look around really hard, I have a pretty good idea. I know what made those tracks. And it's a mammal that digs up its hidden food. So if I look in here carefully, I see some seeds that have been dug up. So my guess is that is a squirrel. Also, another clue is, I don't know if it'll happen, but someone was chirping at me, letting me know that they were there, and that was also a clue that there's a squirrel in this area. So I'm just kind of standing here seeing if it will do it again. I don't know if you could hear it, but there it was way off in the distance.